Right, going back to the top story we are tracking here on DD India News Hour, Prime Minister Modi addresses the 81st Annual General Meeting of the International Air Transport Association in New Delhi. The event is being held in India after a gap of 42 years. India last hosted it in 1983. This year's edition brings together more than 1,600 participants, including global aviation industry leaders and government officials. Right, joining us are Mr. Sunil Kumar R. and Mr. Ajay Prakash. Mr. Kumar is the president of the Travel Agents Association of India, and Mr. Prakash is the president of the Travel Agents Federation of India. Gentlemen, welcome to DD India News Hour. Mr. Kumar, to you first. What did you make of the Prime Minister's address? Did his speech tick all the right boxes for you?
Prime Minister was absolutely brilliant in terms of explaining to this international audience, because this is a very different kind of an audience. The audience comprised of the airline heads of the world, and the Prime Minister talking to them in terms of how India has triggered off its outstandingly brilliant approach to aviation, making India the third largest aviation segment in the world, and talked about the future as well. People were amazed with the kind of changes that are coming up, the evolution this industry will be soon witnessing, particularly in terms of the large number of aircrafts that are currently in order, which are from all the airlines of India. This reflected to the audience a very big India, an India that everyone must feel proud of. I think the Prime Minister's bottom line was very clear, that India is not someone small, India is not just big, but India is very forward-looking. India wants to be visible globally, connect globally, and was looking at a lot of collaborations with the rest of the world.
Mr. Prakash, coming to you now, what can you tell us about the IATA's meeting and the World Air Transport Summit as well?
This is, it's a historical occasion because we have had the IATA AGM happening, and IATA represents almost 200 airlines globally, which is more than 80 or 85% of all international or domestic traffic. That the Prime Minister chose to spare the time to come and address this meeting of airline heads, CEOs from across the world was a very important and a very magnanimous gesture. What he said was that India is not only a market, but it is a producer, a leader in terms of sustainable aviation growth. And that each one of us has a stake over here in this business. And to help India grow, it is important. From 63 or from 74 airports, we have come to 163 airports. The aim is to go to 300 airports in the next couple of years. I think that is remarkable, and it is because aviation is the driver of economic growth. And the more we can sustain and grow it, I think we have the opportunity here with 1.4 billion people as the most populous country in the world. With a median age of 28, we have a great demographic advantage. This is the opportunity for India to take the lead. And I think this was a very important meeting, and I am so happy that the Prime Minister came and chose to address it.
Indeed. Mr. Kumar, taking off from the point where Mr. Prakash left, how does India compare in terms of, say, building world-class air infrastructure and improving connectivity as part of its broader goal of economic growth and inclusive development?
I must mention that prior to the Prime Minister speaking to us, we had Mr. Willie Walsh, the Director General of IATA, and he did mention that in the 28 years of experience that he carried with IATA, they have not witnessed any single, on any single occasion, the head of the state being present, and that too of the stature of Mr. Modi, very globally acknowledged leader. And having said that, the kind of response that people could gauge from the Prime Minister's address clearly communicated India's stand with aviation, its consistent growth year on year. When you talk about how does India compare, I think India has progressed much more than many others. What happened to India in the last 10, 15 years is something that the world has not yet witnessed. So we have with us a very strong participation and inclusive leadership and growth in the aviation industry. Our airlines are absolutely on top class. Indigo has hosted this event. The outgoing chairman, Mr. Peter, is the CEO of Indigo, and with Indigo and the entire Indian aviation industry present there with a large number of people. I represented at this AGM not merely as the president of the Travel Agents Association of India, but I wear the cap of an Indian currently heading the global federation called UFTA, United Federation of Travel Agents Associations. And I was amazed with all that happened today. And I must say it was a wonderful day for India. India, in comparison to the world, has proved that we are second to none, and we aren't going to look back. We are looking at much more stronger focus on not just expanding, but taking on relationship with the world. And I think we have actually demonstrated that we are leading the global industry in terms of aviation, and we're not here to be merely on a low scale, but we would certainly zoom up to a much better position. If I look at what's going to happen in the next 5-7 years, I think India would be far ahead, far ahead in terms of the quantum growth that would happen in the next 5 years compared to any other part of the world. And that was very clearly demonstrated by the figures the Prime Minister as well as our Honorable Minister for Aviation, Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu, had presented to the delegates. So
Right.
put together, these two presentations were truly remarkable.
Absolutely. Mr. Prakash, for the benefit of viewers watching this broadcast and joining us from around the world, what are some of the key challenges and opportunities in the aviation industry today?
Well, the biggest challenge in the aviation industry is the issue of sustainability. Now, it's been talked about very, very often. Unfortunately, aviation gets more than its fair share of criticism. If you look at it, the construction industry probably contributes to greater greenhouse gas emission. Yes, it is evident that transport, and that's the tourism industry, and aviation is the main stay, does also have a role to play. But with newer generation aircraft coming in, with the advent and the inclusion of sustainable aviation fuel, I think that is a challenge that will have to be addressed, because you cannot stop mobility. Aviation drives global economy. You cannot ground it. You must find ways to mitigate the environmental consequences. The other issue facing us in India particularly is the cost of aviation turbine fuel. As you know, it constitutes approximately 40% of any airline's costs. And therefore, if aviation turbine fuel, ATF, is brought under the ambit of GST, I think it would be a big boost. The third challenge we have is to make India a global aviation hub. There was a time when we had transcontinental traffic connecting over India. With Air India's change in schedules, I think we are going to achieve that again, where you have a seamless transition or travel from Australia all the way across to the United States or Europe. So these are the challenges before us. And of course, we have the issue of spare parts, of aircraft availability, of backups in the supply chain. These are all global effects, but many of them can be tackled at a local level.
Right.
And therefore, it is important that as we go forward, we remember that as the most populous, as the most peace-loving country in the world, we have a huge role to play going forward. And aviation and tourism has more than just an economic impact. It is also a bridge between people, regardless of your cultural beliefs, regardless of your nationalities. Tourism has the power to connect people across
Right.
all boundaries. And this is the opportunity that we have to improve upon our performance on inbound tourism, because that is a form of soft diplomacy. Anybody who comes into your country and goes back as a satisfied visitor is an ambassador for your country. There is a
Absolutely.
true, genuine power that we have to influence global opinions. The concept of Atithi Devos, Atithi Devo, the concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, these are inherent in the Indian ethos.
Indeed.
And these are the values through inbound tourism and through tourism across the world that we can spread to the world. So these are some of the challenges, but these are also
Right.
some of the opportunities we have
True.
going forward.
Mr. Kumar, Mr. Prakash used the word hub, and that brings me to my next question to you. Mr. Kumar, we keep hearing about India wanting to become an MRO hub, maintenance, repair, and overhaul. What will it take for India to become one?
Well, today there was a question asked prior to the Prime Minister. It was a panel of the CEOs, and the question was asked as to how many of the aircrafts belonging to different airline groups are currently grounded. And there was a huge challenge. This is very clearly reflective of the challenge the world currently has on maintenance. And with MRO coming up, on which the Prime Minister did make a mention, I think what it takes for India is to have, because we've got the right people, we've got technically qualified people there, and all we need to do is to position ourselves. And I think that positioning is currently happening. In my opinion, IATA AGM, which this is my 4th AGM that I'm attending, and I would say that a take-home message, which perhaps the world was not aware of, is the intention of India to create an MRO hub. And this is the need of the hour. India people are now convinced, thanks to our defense capabilities, thanks to a lot of advanced levels of technology that we reflect in all that we do. This is a right strategy for the government, not merely to lead the world in terms of the aviation market, but go a bit deeper into the MRO aspect as well, and get the world to utilize the services in India. So it's a different vertical altogether. You're not just leading aviation, you're supporting aviation as well.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of consistency of this vision that must be on, irrespective of what happens in the next few years. And this consistency of that vision, that no matter
Right.
what, India must emerge, is going to make a big impact on the world. So I would acknowledge and express my appreciation to the government for making a bold announcement today in front of the CEOs of the world that MRO is India's maiden impact that they want to create, and then expand it to the whole world. I think it's a great move, and India, I'm sure, with that consistency of this vision translated into actions, translated into strategies that they would put up, it will surely happen, and that would position India very, very respectably across the world.
Indeed. I have time for one last question to you, Mr. Prakash. Would you say that the economics of the airline industry by and large is healthy? Also, is there scope for innovation in aviation technology?
Well, aviation has always been a high-risk business. The joke was that if you wanted to become a millionaire, you set up an airline as a billionaire and you'll end up as a millionaire. But having said that, the fact remains that aviation is critical to economic growth.
Right.
And given the fact that we have two very strong airlines and a couple of smaller players, and the Minister for Civil Aviation, Mr. Ramon Naidu, also said there are a couple of smaller airlines which are gaining market share, I think we are in a healthy situation, and Indian aviation can only go higher from here.
Okay.
So I am very, very optimistic, and I think we have the manpower, we have the skills, we have the will, and we have the support of a very, very economically sound country. So yeah, we have
Fair enough.
We can touch the skies.
Right, on that rather optimistic note, may I thank both our guests, Mr. Ajay Prakash and Mr. Sunil Kumar, for joining us and sharing your thoughts and perspectives with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated.